Welcome to Thwarted, a game of Super-Villainy, where you as the players are supervillains who have been granted new powers and can finally do battle with the superheroes of the city. This is going to be a quick overview of the rules. Let's see what it takes to bring those pesky superheroes to their knees. As supervillains, your new superpowers are represented by these power cards. These give you everything you need to fight the heroes and each other. Let's take a quick look at the power cards in the game. Power cards come in three different types: Evil Deed cards, Block cards, and Thwart cards. All power cards are dual purpose, meaning that they can be used for their action text printed on the card or for attacking heroes, but we'll come back to attacking heroes later in the video. Power cards come in 5 different power types: Atomic, Cosmic, Ice, Fire, and Magic. In addition, there are also dual power cards, which are more important to pay attention to when attacking heroes. For now, let's just take a look at each card type, starting with Evil Deed cards. Evil Deed cards make up a majority of the cards in the game. On your turn, you may play one of these cards for its action text. Simply do what the action text says, discard the card, then carry on with your turn. Next, let's take a look at Block cards. Block cards are played in response to another supervillain attacking a hero. Most block cards completely negate the attack, but pay attention to special block cards that may have a different effect. Most block cards also have the minion keyword on them. That means that when a supervillain's attack is blocked, instead of collecting the superhero, they instead get the minion. Minions can be used on all future attacks in places using cards from your hand, so pay attention when blocking other supervillains. You're basically giving them minions to help them fight. The Thwart card is the last power card type in the game. Thwart cards are very powerful and can quickly turn the tide of the game. The Thwart card is a big giant no. If someone targets you with an evil deed, you can thwart them instead. If someone tries to block one of your attacks on a hero, you can thwart their block. If someone tries to thwart one of your evil deeds, you can thwart their thwart instead. The Thwart card also has the wild keyword on it. When you use a Thwart card to make an attack on a hero, it can be used for any power type in the game. Now that we know about the different power card types in the game, we can move on to attacking superheroes, since that's what the whole point of this game is. All power cards in the game can be used to attack superheroes. Each power card used to attack the hero counts as 1 point of damage of a particular power type. For instance, this Ice card counts as 1 point of ice damage. Heroes typically range in power from 2 to 5 points and require that many points of damage to knock them out. A special note about dual power cards: even though these cards have 2 power symbols on them, each dual power card is still only worth 1 point of damage. Now that we know how to use power cards to fight a hero, let's take a look at the hero cards themselves. Hero cards have 3 important pieces of information that you will need to pay attention to when attacking them. In the top right corner, there is a number and a shield. That number is the hero's power value and tells you how many points of damage you need to inflict in order to KO that hero. That number also tells you how many infamy points that the hero is worth at the end of the game. Tougher heroes with higher point values are going to be more valuable in the case of a tie. The top left corner of the card contains the rules box. The rules box tells you exactly what combination of power cards you can and can't use or are required to use to defeat the hero. For example, Crossbolt is a 3 power value card, meaning you need 3 points of damage to defeat her. Her rules box shows that at least 2 of the points of damage must come from Cosmic and Fire. The 3rd point of damage can be any power type. You may see other symbols in the rules box. Don't worry, that's covered more in the manual. The last bit of information is at the bottom of the hero card, and that's their superpower. Anytime you defeat a superhero, they will put up a fight and use their superpower. Most of these superpowers are one use and happen immediately after defeating them, but pay attention to a handful of heroes that have superpowers that continue to happen throughout the game or until a certain condition is met. That is an overview of the power cards and the hero cards in the game. If you're playing with the Power Pack expansion or the deluxe version of Thwarted, there are 2 additional card types in the game: Villain Persona cards and Hero Buff cards. Villain Persona cards give each player unique villain power and tells you which superhero is your arch nemesis. Hero Buff cards are extra cards that get shuffled into the hero deck and add extra rules to heroes that the buffs are attached to. These cards are covered more in depth, again, in the rulebook. Now that we know how the cards work, let's talk about how you actually play the game. On your turn, you start by drawing a card from the power deck. After drawing a card, you can play a power card and or make an attack in any order you want. If a villain successfully defeats a hero, that villain collects the patrol marker and holds on to it until another villain defeats a hero. After playing power cards and making attacks, the villain ends their turn by drawing another power card. If a hero was defeated, a new superhero goes out on patrol. The next villain then takes their turn performing evil deeds and attacking heroes. There is a special note about the first turn. Make sure in each villain's first turn they don't overdo it. With great power comes a steep learning curve. Because you are just now learning to use your new superpowers, you may only play an action or make an attack on your first turn, but not both. Villains also have the option to power up on their turn. When you decide to power up, you draw back up to a hand of 5 cards and immediately end your turn. Powering up is a good way to get back into the game if you have very few or even 0 cards in hand. Villains continue taking turns until the game ends. The game ends in one of 2 different ways: if all heroes in the city and the hero deck are depleted, or if the power deck runs out of power cards. Now, once the last hero has been defeated or removed from the game immediately ends. Then villains tally up their infamy points. If the power deck runs out of power cards, each villain will have one final turn, ending with the villain who drew the last card. Yeah, that's right, the villain that drew the last power card also gets the last turn. If you think that's unfair, well, probably is, but this isn't a game of Super Friends, it's a game of Super-Villainy. Now that you're done whining, all villains tally up their infamy points. The villain with the most infamy is the greatest supervillain of all time. And that's how you play Thwarted, a game of Super-Villainy.